Not allowed in the auditorium. Smoking is not allowed in the building. Photography and other unauthorized video recording is strictly prohibited. At this time, please switch off all cell phones and electronic devices. Thank you, and do enjoy the following presentation.
I invite you all to stand for the national anthem. Please be seated. Dr. the Honorable Lakram Bodo, Minister of Health. Dr. the Honorable Michael Dowlak, Minister of Education. Mr. Rajdeo Sinanan, representing the Honorable Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training. Professor Derek Chady, Deputy Principal of the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine Campus. Professor Hariharan Sitharaman, Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, and other members of the campus executive management team. Dr. Priya Lalu, Acting Chief Medical Officer of the Ministry of Health. Dr. Sandy Arthur, President, Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association. Mrs. Arlene Hamlin Paul, President of the UWI St. Augustine Student Alumni, the MBBS class of 2025, faculty and staff of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, parents, other loved ones, well-wishers of our graduates, valued sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, online attendees, good evening to all of you. I am Professor Sandra Reed, Deputy Dean of the Clinical Programs of the Faculty of Medical Sciences and your Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon. It is my privilege and pleasure to welcome each and every one of you to this auspicious occasion. In particular, I welcome the honorees of the occasion, these splendiferously dressed young ladies and gentlemen of the MBBS class of 2025. This oath-taking ceremony marks a significant milestone in the lives of our graduates as they prepare to step into the practice of medicine. This afternoon, they affirm their commitment to ethical, compassionate, and competent medical practice. We are delighted to have you join us for this momentous occasion as we witness and celebrate their transition from students to professionals, bound not only by knowledge, but by oath to serve. So let me start by saying, on behalf of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, I extend heartiest congratulations To my colleagues, the newest doctors on the block, let's give them another round of applause. As we move into the program, there are some distinguished individuals who will address you. We are privileged as we start to hear from two distinguished leaders of our institution, individuals whose strategic leadership, support, and guidance have helped shape the academic journey of our graduates. First, you will hear from the Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, Professor Hariharan Sitaraman, or Prof. Harry, as we fondly call him, a proponent of ethical and professional practice, whose leadership, student-centeredness, and commitment to academic excellence have prepared these students for the profession they are about to enter. Following the Dean, you will be addressed by Professor Derek Chady, Deputy Principal of the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies, whose mandate in managing student affairs, ensuring academic quality, and enhancing the overall student experience plays a prominent role in student success. Please welcome Professor Harry, followed by Professor Chady.
Thank you, Professor Reed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. If every one of us repeat all these names, it's going to prolong this function. So I especially want to welcome the Honorable Minister of Health and Minister of Education, who have kindly agreed to participate in this function and greet our young students here. I don't have a prepared speech. I like the extempore rendition, as I always say. So I just wanted to talk to you about the importance of this oath taking and your commitment towards medicine. I remember 35 years ago when I finished my MBBS, and once you finish your MBBS, you will feel like you are in a cloud, and yes, you do fully deserve this honor because you braved through so many courses, and that too during the pandemic, during your early preclinical sciences. And I know the curriculum and the assessment and how difficult it is to get through all these courses. But what I wanted to tell you is, as you become a doctor now, it's not the question of just taking the oath, but you have to commit yourself. Your journey starts now, because let me tell you, the impact of AI is very real. I just returned from my home country. In the past, they used to do some investigations, send the reports to me and ask, what do you think about these reports? Do I have to do anything at all? But nowadays, what I get in my WhatsApp messages, they feed these investigative reports into ChatGPT and Gemini. Both of them give some opinion, whatever they can give you, and then they want to ask me which one to follow now. Should I follow ChatGPT or Gemini? So that is where medicine has come into now. So what is the importance of a human doctor is what you have to understand, because the diagnostic procedures, the investigative reports, even the protocols of treatment are all actually now available just by the click of a finger in their cell phone. And you will actually encounter so many patients who first consult with Dr. ChatGPT and then come to you. And it's much more important for you now not to become flustered by that. You have to be, the major difference of a human doctor is when I talk to a patient as another human being, that is what they want. You know, whatever they read in ChatGPT, they're not going to fully trust it. They still want a human doctor to talk to them. And that's why, you know, even after ChatGPT and Gemini, they sent it to me and asked, what should I do with this, which one to follow? So I want you to remember that, you know, in the future of medicine, in the days to come, you know, it should be much more you know, empathetic towards patients, much more ethically concerned, cannot get flustered just because they go into an internet and you know, tell you what is the protocol of this treatment. Because, you know, whatever the internet tells them, you as an experienced doctor, the best person to guide them. And all they want, the patients, is a doctor telling them, I am here to take care of you. I am going to take care of your well-being. Many diseases cannot be cured, but what they want is healing. A human doctor to tell them that we care for them. So I want that to go into your mind right from now, and that rewards you a lot, not only in financial terms, but also you will feel gratified to treat a patient. So I think I have talked enough about the commitment to be a doctor, and I again want to congratulate all of you for completing this MBBS course, which is not very easy in my view. It's a lot of things you have to do. I know every single course and the curriculum and the assessment, and you have done a very good job. I want to actually congratulate again, and you please give yourself a round of applause for me. And thank you to the parents and the well-wishers for supporting them in their journey through the medical school. And as I said, the journey starts now, and you will have to encounter real patients, and that is where you will make the impact. And again, welcome to the fraternity, and wish you all the best. Thank you.
Chair, Professor Sandra Reed, the Honorable Dr. Lakram Budu, Minister of Health, the Honorable Dr. Michael Daulat, Minister of Education, Mr. Rajdev Singh Sinanan, representing the Honorable Professor Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training, Professor Hari Haran Sitaraman, Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, and other members of the campus executive management team, Dr. Priya Lalu, Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Sandy Arthur, President, Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, Mrs. Arlene Hamlin Hall, President, the UWI Student Alumni, the MBBS class of 2025, faculty and staff of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, parents, well-wishers, valued sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, pleasant good evening to everyone. Let me begin by saying what an honor it is to bring greetings on behalf of the University of the West Indies at this solemn and joyous occasion. And it's a solemn, but it's a joyous occasion, the oath-taking ceremony of the MBBS class of June 2025. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Finally, after the sleepless nights and mental gymnastics of clinical examination, and possibly enough caffeine to light up Sapper's lights. But we made it, and that's the point, and you're all seeing that. And put your hands together because you did quite a good job. But as the Dean pointed out, and rightly so, the journey is now beginning. Today, you stand at the threshold, not just of a career, but of a calling. You're joining a tradition that began at the University of the West Indies back in 1948 with just 33 students. Fast track almost 80 years. And here you are today in 2025, part of a long and proud legacy of doctors trained by the University of the West Indies to do what? To serve with skills, integrity, and yes, compassion. Medicine isn't easy, and you know that. It demands your mind, your time, your energy, but the deep truth and the one that will carry you through the 2 a.m. calls that you will quite often get and the heartbreaking diagnosis is this. Medicine demands your heart. And Dean pointed out that it's not just your knowledge, but it's your heart into your discipline. In this profession, professionalism is non-negotiable. Your patience depends on your precision, your judgment, your ability to stay calm when chaos erupts. But there's something else that matters just as much, maybe more than the science when science runs out: empathy. Sometimes medicine can't cure, but empathy can heal. A hand held, a voice heard, a moment of real human connection. These can be lifelines when someone feels that they're drowning. And that's where humanity meets your training. Maybe many can learn how to read charts, but not everyone can read a face. Many can recite symptoms, but not everyone can hear the fear in the words that sometimes patients speak. It is your ability to connect that will make you a truly great doctor. We have heard quite often people say that we will forget what we say, forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And that's important. It's not only what you do, it's not only what you say, but it's how you make your patients feel at the end of the day. And that is especially true in medicine, in other disciplines, but more so in the discipline that you have dedicated your lives to. You'll walk into rooms where people are scared, confused, and in pain. And in others, and you will walk out some of these rooms having saved lives. However, the only thing that would happen is that sometimes you leave behind someone in comfort. Comforting as well as your medical profession, the science of your medical profession, they're both important in healing. And never underestimate the power of comfort. Because sometimes in the silence that follows hard news, what lingers in the patient memory isn't the diagnosis. It's the quiet squeeze of a hand, the steadiness of your voice, and the look that you sometimes give to your patients. That quiet strength that is so important for your discipline. That kind that offers comfort without fanfare is often mirrored in your own lives. So let's take a moment to honor the quiet heroes of your lives, your parents and family, your friends, your mentors, and those who supported you without applause, who believed in you when the path was unclear, and who stood by you through long nights and those moments of panic. They were the ones who listened when you doubted yourselves, who stood with you, stayed up with you when you were preparing for your examination, who sent messages and encouragement when you needed it most. This is their victory also. Don't forget to say thank you. And let's put our hands together to thank your parents. And to our esteemed professors, lecturers, and members of the faculty, thank you. You have done more than educate. You have shaped minds, forged character, and lit the path towards principled, compassionate practice. Through your tireless dedication, you have imparted not only knowledge, but the values that define this noble profession. You have challenged our future doctors to think with precision, to act with integrity, and to lead with humility. You have exemplified the resilience, compassion, and intellectual discipline that medicine demands. And because of you, our new doctors in this room are prepared to shoulder the profound responsibility. I say that it's a profound responsibility that is on your shoulders. We honor you, the lecturers and professors, and I want you, students, to give your professors and lecturers and the administrative staff a loud round of applause. Graduates, as you raise your hand to take the oath, remember, it is not a script, it is a promise to your patient, to your communities, and yes, to yourselves. It's a promise to show up even on the hard days, to speak truthfully, even when the truth is difficult, to keep learning because science evolves, and so must all of us, to continue to be humble and to have humility as doctors. And that's extremely important because the moment we think we have mastered everything is the moment we stop growing. Be bold in your knowledge. Be humble in your practice. Be steadfast in your advocacy. Be gentle in your presence. Be the doctor who speaks truth to power when health systems need reform. Be the one who shows up in underserved communities, not because it's trendy, because it's right. Be the doctor who makes space for the voiceless, and there are lots of voiceless. And you're the ones who would have to speak for them at times, who says, you matter even when no one else does. And let the world know that UWI doctors can carry hope to those who need them. And that hope, let me be clear, is not naive. It's not, that hope that we speak about is not naive. It is hard-won. It is the kind of hope that stands firm in the face of challenge, the kind of hope that says, even when I can't cure, I can still care, and I can still be there. So this evening, let this moment reaffirm your purpose and reignite your commitment. But don't let it be the pinnacle, let it be the foundation, because this is now the start, as Dean pointed out. The beginning of a long journey marked not just by achievement, but by service, courage, and compassion once again. Congratulations to the MBBS class of June 2025. Go forward with pride, humility, and courage in your service to humanity. And I can tell you from the standpoint of the University of the West Indies, we are extremely proud of you. Just as we were proud of those students in 1948, 33 students, we are proud of all of you, more than 133 students today. Thank you very much, and may you heal with your hands and, more importantly, with your hearts. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Let me just take this opportunity to welcome among us yes, we do have Dr. Rashad Sicharan. I want to warmly welcome him, Junior Minister in the Ministry of Health. We are very happy that you are here with us this evening. The Ministry of Education is involved in ensuring the quality and relevance of medical education at the Faculty of Medical Sciences. And through the GATE program, our eligible students receive financial assistance to complete their medical education. An alumnus of the University of the West Indies and a highly respected educator himself, it is now my pleasure to invite Honorable Michael Dowlat, the Honorable Michael Dowlat, Minister of Education, to bring greetings.
Good evening, everyone. Dr. the Honorable Lakram Bodo, Minister of Health, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, Minister in the Ministry of Health, Professor Derek Chedi, Deputy Principal, University of the West Indies, faculty members, esteemed parents and guardians, but more importantly, the class, MBBS class of 2025. It gives me great pleasure to join with you today in this momentous occasion, the oath-taking ceremony for future doctors, clinicians, and medical advocates. And I want to say that it's a time of reflection for you as you move from one stage to another in your life and your career. But I want you to reflect a little bit about where you came from. And so you had excellent teachers at your faculty, excellent professors. But I want to ask you to throw back your minds to your preschool days, your primary school days, and your secondary school days. And I want you to congratulate a lot of those teachers who would have made a difference in your life. And let's give them a round of applause. You know, so many of them. Education is a profession where we scaffold from one level to another. And the curriculum is considered to be spirals. So the basic concepts of doing good in the society would have been planted, that seed would have been planted early in your lives. And so, as we took those few moments to reflect, and as you think about the oath that you're going to recite, think about them as being more than words, that it's a pledge to humanity. As was spoken before by the two speakers, it's really a pledge to compassion, a pledge to ethics in the practice of medicine. And so I want you to recognize, as you become medical professionals, you are entering a noble discipline. Service to man is service to God. And so it was not just about academic success. And even though that was essential for you to move from one level to another, it's really about character. It's about responsibility. It's about stepping into a role that requires wisdom in uncertainty. It's about developing patience in difficult situations. And it's developing courage in adversity. And so we are very fortunate in Trinidad and Tobago to receive an education right here at the University of the West Indies. And I want to say a degree at the University of the West Indies is very rigorous. I passed through quite a few of them myself. And I congratulate you on that, being able to survive. And recently, I had a ceremony for the top 5 students from the 2025 SCA. And one of the students, I asked all of them to speak. She started off, I am an SCA survivor. You know, so I want to say to you, as the government of Trinidad and Tobago continues to invest in the human capital, in yourself as young people, allowing you to fulfill your dreams, the dreams of your parents, you are being equipped with skills and competencies to survive in a very dynamic and interconnected global economy. And especially as your professors would have spoken about before, in a world where the technology is ever evolving, and especially in the world of AI. But the future of this country and the world, by extension, wherever you go, really depends on the caliber of professionals that we produce and the quality of care. And so when we reflect over the past few years, we recognize the critical role that local medical expertise would have played in safeguarding the public health during national emergencies. Remember the global pandemic. We were not sure, and as Professor said before, everybody went onto the internet and went onto ChatGPT trying to figure out, you know, and we were all wearing those masks. But can I take a simple survey from you? Do you think that mask really made a difference? Tell me, yes or no? Yes, it did? Oh, what, we 10%, 90%? I want to say that, you know, as we navigate through all of the circumstances that will come our way, that we need to recognize that we need to be consistent. We need to be calm under pressure, and we need to be resolute in action. And so you are the ones who will instill public confidence in the national healthcare system. We recognize that Trinidad and Tobago owes a gratitude to our doctors and our healthcare workers who continue to have that deep sense of duty. Your training, grounded into the realities of our local environment, is not only relevant, but it is essential. So as you gain experience, you will be called upon to act as mentors, to pass on your best practices. And so a future generation of doctors will follow you. And so I want you to think ahead, think with the end in mind about how you pursue your own careers. So especially to the support that all of us would have had when we were university students, to our parents, our guardians, I want to say we extend congratulations to you. The medical degree is one of the most difficult ones to pursue. And today, is a celebration also for you as to the class of 2025. And as you've been asked to do before, students or graduates now, I ask you to congratulate all your parents and those who supported you. So on behalf of the Ministry of Education, including Professor Prakash Prasad, Ministry of Tertiary Education, I extend heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you graduates as you take this oath today, as you don your white coats and you step forward into your clinical journey. Remember that the knowledge you have acquired must always be wielded with integrity and humility. Our prayer for all of you is that your careers will be long, fulfilling, and be always guided by the highest ideals of service. May you go forward with purpose. May you go forward in service. And may you always remember that healing is both an art and a science. And now you have been called upon to master both. Congratulations once again. I thank all of you.
As our graduates prepare to take their place within the body of medical professionals, it is especially meaningful that they hear from the next two distinguished individuals who represent the paths they are about to walk. Underscoring the solemn responsibility our graduates are about to assume, we will first hear from the President of the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, Dr. Sandy Arthur, who brings greetings on behalf of the National Medical Fraternity. Immediately following Dr. Arthur, the President of the UWI Alumni Association, Mrs. Arlene Hamblin-Powell, will bring greetings as our newest alumni now become part of a proud legacy of graduates of the UWI. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Sandy Arthur, followed by Mrs. Arlene Hamblin-Powell.
Good evening, and thank you, Professor Reed. The Honorable Dr. Lakram Bodo, Minister of Health. The Honorable Dr. Michael Daulat, Member of Parliament for San Fernando West and Minister of Education. Mr. Sinanan, representing the Honorable Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training. Professor Derek Chady, Deputy Principal of the University of the West Indies. Professor Cesar Roman, or as we say, Prof. Harry, Dean of the Faculty of Medical Sciences and other medical faculty of the University of the West Indies, Dr. Priya Lalu, Ms. Hamblin-Powell, class of 2025, June, that is, faculty, staff, parents, well-wishers, sponsors, ladies, gentlemen, good evening. As I sat, as you came in, I reflected on my own time at doing this oath-taking ceremony. And on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, I would like to extend sincerest congratulations to each and every one of you, our newest members of this profession called medicine. Best practice as a calling. Having not pursued my medical studies here at the St. Augustine campus, I was very unfamiliar with the wider medical fraternity when I started to work here and reside here in 2009. However, through the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, I was able to find camaraderie, support, membership, and mentorship. I tentatively attended my first continuous medical education meeting with the South Branch of the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association and the rest is history. I stand before you today. As my other distinguished speakers who've gone before me, they have laid out quite eloquently, better than I could ever say, what it means to be a doctor and your responsibility to each and every patient that you will encounter. When I started my internship, SOAP, SOAP, became a standard guide when I had to review patients. However, today I don't want to remind you of that responsibility to your patients because the others have done that for me. Today I want to challenge you to utilize this concept for you and your fellow colleagues as you will begin this journey as medical professionals. Be subjective. How are you today? Not how are you today and move, but actually stop to listen. And after you get your subjectivity, be a bit more objective. It may be uncomfortable, and sometimes we don't always like to talk or be vulnerable, but it becomes necessary. Afterwards, you make an assessment and then be intentional on how you plan to proceed. Is it that you need to get some help? I always encourage young professionals, never hesitate to ask for help if you think that you need help. Do not think that it makes you any less of a person or it makes you a weak person to ask for help. It actually demonstrates your strength when you can be vulnerable and expose yourself like that. Once again, congratulations. We at TNTME look forward to hosting you this Saturday as we host your internship dinner for you. And if you need to get any more information on us, you can just turn to the back of your programs, scan the QR code, and you'll get more information on us. I look forward to being able to meet and socialize with some of you on Saturday. Have a good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. The Honorable Dr. Lagram Pudu, Minister of Health. The Honorable Dr. Michael Dowlat, Minister of Education. Mr. Rajdev Sinanan, representing the Honorable Prakash Prasad, Minister of Tertiary Education and Skills Training. Professor Derek Chady, Deputy Principal, the University of the West Indies St. Augustine Campus. Professor Harinath Sicharam, Dean, Faculty of Medical Sciences, and other members of Campus Executive Management Team. Dr. Priya Lalu, Chief Medical Officer. Dr. Sandy Arthur, President, Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association. Class of 2025. Faculty and staff of the medical sciences, parents, well-wishers, valued sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Greetings on behalf of the University of the West Indies, Trinidad and Tobago chapter. It is finally over, or is it? Over the past few years, you have looked forward to this day, the day when you take the Hippocratic oath, an oath to uphold the ethical standards of one of the oldest professions known to mankind. No pressure. This occasion may be a time of reflection for some of you, the late nights studying for that physiology exam, or the practical exam when your arms were shaking so much you were sure you were going to fail. These are now all memories. Memories that will act as motivators on those days that you encounter those difficult situations. As a medical professional of over 25 years, I know all too well the expectations that are now placed upon you. But rest assured, you are well prepared. Having successfully navigated your studies at this prestigious institution, you are now ranked among the best in your profession. And I quote, "The UWI has been consistently ranked among the best in the world, the most reputable ranking agency, Times Education." Now it is time for you to share that greatness to the world. Remember, the kindness and care you extend in your practice will mean more to your patients than the medication you can prescribe. Let the words "service to others" be your motto. And in the words of Francis Peabody, American physician, true healing goes beyond medical treatment. It involves genuinely caring for your patient's well-being. We at the UWI Alumni Association Trinidad and Tobago chapter take this opportunity to welcome you to the UE alumni family. Welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so graduates, you've been hearing a lot about what it's going to be like when you transition from student to professional in the workplace. And one thing that you would learn is that when duty calls, you must move. And this evening, we have a living example of someone who, when duty calls, he has to move. So there's a little change in our program at this time, and we are going to go straight into our featured presentation. And our featured speaker this evening is none other than our Honorable Minister of Health. He holds the responsibility of guiding national health policy, strengthening healthcare systems, and ensuring the overall health and well-being of the population. Dr. the Honorable Lakram Bodo, we are very, very pleased to have him with us, but he has to leave because duty calls. There's a parliamentary caucus that he must attend, and so we are going to have him bring our feature presentation at this time, which runs just a little contrary to the program. So without further ado, it is now my honor to invite to the podium Dr. the Honorable Minister of Health, Lakram Bodo, to deliver the feature of address. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much, the chair of our evening's proceedings, Professor Sandra Reid. Good evening all. Thank you very much for indulging the change in the program. I will just cut the protocol short, but of course it will be remiss of me not to recognize the Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, in whose constituency we all are, and the Minister of Education, Dr. Michael Dowlatt. Of course, the Minister in the Ministry of Health, Dr. Rishi Sicharan, Professor Derek Chady, Deputy Principal, UWI St. Augustine Campus, and Professor Hari Sitaraman, Faculty of Medical Sciences, Dr. Sandy Atta, President, Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, and of course, the President of the St. Augustine Student Alumni, and of course, the MBBS class of 2025. The reason we are all here, I see many other stakeholders in the audience. I say good evening to you all, including some colleagues from the SWRHA who are joining us here this evening. So I'm very happy to be here to join you at this oath-taking ceremony. All 149, is it 150, Professor Dan, I believe, that are here with us this evening. And it is truly an honor to stand before you today at SAPA. And I am told that this is the first time that such a oath-taking ceremony is taking place in the South at SAPA, and I believe that Professor Dan is responsible for this. Let's give him a round of applause. And of course, I stand here today not only as your Minister of Health, but as a member of this noble profession, who would have practiced right up until the 28th of April, a few days ago. So I'm here to witness your public proclamation to the medical profession. But you know, before I go into this prepared script in front of me here, I want to ask if there's a Dr. Alima Mohammed amongst us here today. That person, yeah, so you raise your hand. So then there must be a Mr. Rakib Ali in the audience. You know that gentleman? Dr. Alima? There's your grandfather. So when I walked in here, I walk around the place trying to meet everybody and so on, right? And I encountered your grandfather. So I see what you're doing here. He said, well, with a lot of pride, my granddaughter is graduating. But you know what's the next question he asked me? He said, Doctor, he said, Minister, you gonna have work for all of them children, yeah? So when I got that question, of course, I had to think twice about whether I was going to read the speech here or whether I should go directly and address Mr. Rakib Ali's question. But I give you the assurance I'll come to that question, and hopefully I'll be able to give you an answer as we go forward. So I just wanted to say that the oath you're about to take signifies your transition from medical education to medical practice. So in making this transition, you are in the presence of your parents, your guardians, university faculty, and all those gathered here today, publicly proclaiming both your commitment to upholding the ethical principles and the highest standards of care, as well as your commitment to patient well-being. Today's transition places you in the role of saving lives, improving patient well-being, and contributing to medical advancement. It is a commitment to walk with people through their most vulnerable moments, to ease pain, to listen, to heal, and sometimes to simply be present when healing is no longer possible. It's an important thing to remember. And whilst your training has equipped you with the science of medicine, experience will now teach you its art. So it is both a science and an art, and I believe some of the previous speakers would have alluded to this. You will learn that no two patients are the same. You will be challenged mentally, emotionally, and ethically. There will be days when the system feels strained and you will feel overwhelmed. But on those days, remember that you are part of something bigger, and you must be prepared to respond not just with skill, but with conscience. As a physician and someone dedicated to public service and the broader public good above personal gain, I urge you to hold firm to your values and the ethics of the practice of medicine. Treat every patient with dignity and respect, regardless of race, religion, gender, social status, or belief. Our differences should never define the care we give. They should deepen our understanding and enrich our humanity. Your entry into this profession comes at a critical time in national development. The role of the physician must evolve to provide affordable, high-quality treatment for non-communicable diseases, mental health, and antimicrobial resistance, just to name a few. We must no longer consider it enough to treat illnesses. The role of the physician must evolve and expand to understand our communities, advocate policy improvements, engage in research, and embrace innovation. We must not only engage in the practice of medicine, we must provide leadership to the society in improving the standards of healthcare and thereby improving quality of life. Graduates, as you take the oath today, do so with pride, but also with deep awareness. You are joining a sacred and noble profession. Let integrity be your constant, compassion your daily guide, and excellence your standard. Finally, never underestimate the power of humility and teamwork. And I want to, as we speak about humility, I want to give you the stethoscope story. So on the 1st of April, 1984, I remember it well, April Fool's Day, that was the first day of my internship. Whatever in San Fernando General Hospital, it wasn't a good thing. This must be a bad omen to start your internship on April 1st. But turned out it may not have been such a bad omen. But the story I wanted to tell really is a story of the stethoscope. So you just graduate, you're bright, you start off the first day walking with the stethoscope around your neck. Everybody see you're a doctor. After the first month on the ward, your stethoscope moves from around your neck to inside your pocket. And the whole stethoscope not showing, just a little piece. The tip, what you call it, the hearing part, right? Because after 1 month, you realize that, listen, I really didn't know anything about this, Them nurses and things know more than me. So you don't want to hide it with your stethoscope fully. You still want people to know you're a doctor when you're walking up High Street or you're walking on Frederick Street. But you're kind of hiding it. And by the end of the first year, you put it away somewhere where nobody could see it. Because at the end of your first year of your internship, you realize, well, listen, and now start to learn. So I wanted to leave that story of this stethoscope with you, something to remember. All of you, it will happen to all of you, From the next day when you start your internship, whenever, Minister, how much we approved? $27 million in the recent mid-year budget review to ensure these graduates make sure they get an internship. I think that's what the Minister is confirming. So of course you all will have a job come. Prof, I don't know when are they supposed to start? No, I'm talking about a job as medical interns, right? So whenever that starts. So, I just wanted to say that, I also wanted to mention teamwork, and you'll realize now that this has to be a collaborative effort, You'll realize that you're part of a team, that you'll have to work with nurses. You can learn a whole lot from the nurses. When you go in there, they know a lot more than you. Listen to them. You can learn from pharmacists, from the therapists, even from administrators, but most importantly, from patients. Your patients, second to your teachers in university, will be your greatest teachers. Listen to them. Try to understand what they're saying. Be patient. Take a good history, and you will become good doctors. You're also part of a team, and it is your responsibility to ask for assistance, advice, and guidance from your house officer, your registrar, and your consultant. And I see several consultants here. That's why I recognize them, These doctors from SWRH, some of them, many of them here are consultants. So it's important that you ask for advice and help. Because as you enter this very crucial phase in your career, the internship period, remember after your internship period, I said, you're fully registered, you're gone, right? So this is a great opportunity for you to learn. In my day, it was fortunate in 1984 when I did my internship, 1st April 1984, I can't forget the date, of course. We had, at that time, as interns, we had a 2-year internship period. What was the reason? The reason because this thing called public health and community health and thing had just come on stream. WHO had a little initiative to look at community health. So the University of the West Indies, Professor Dan, took a decision before your time. You may have been a child at that time, I suspect, but they took a decision that the internship should be 2 years. And that 2 years comprised your first year, which was medicine, obstetrics and gynae, pediatrics, and surgery, the normal rotation you will do. But the second year was intended to allow you to get experience. You had to do 6 months in the community. That was a good thing. I went out and did 6 months in some health center, learned a whole lot. And then you had a 6-month elective period. And I chose to do accidental emergency and pathology. So I strongly believe that 2-year internship, and I'm not making a plug for nothing here, don't get me wrong. I strongly believe that experience would have carried me in good stead. But more than that, my father was happy because he was able to understand that I had a job for 2 years at least. And in case I didn't get a job after internship, then he would, he wouldn't have to mind me at least for 2 years. But I make that point just to make you understand that in your 1 year, your limited time, that you have to make the most of it. So in Trinidad and Tobago, we are on a journey of healthcare transformation. The Ministry of Health continues to focus on strengthening primary healthcare, improving digital health infrastructure, and Professor Sitaraman mentioned about the importance of AI, and of course, as a challenge you'll be facing, and tackling the social determinants of health. As new doctors, you will have the opportunity not just to work in the system, but to shape it. Your voice matters, remember that. Whether it is contributing to quality improvement initiatives, participating in policy consultations, or engaging in community outreach, your leadership can help to build a more resilient, equitable healthcare landscape. So there's a lot that is coming on stream in the health sector. There are many opportunities. You have the Port of Spain Central Block will be open, 540 beds. The Couva Hospital will come back on stream. Of course, the Point Fortin Hospital still has certain services to roll out. The Rima Hospital still has to be fully operationalized, and there's a brand new hospital in Sandy Grande. So there'll be no shortage of opportunities. So as you cross this threshold from student to professional, you will also become part of a legacy, a tradition of excellence cultivated by this very Faculty of Medical Sciences at the University of the West Indies. And I'm very proud to say that I am the holder of not one, but 2 degrees from the University of the West Indies. I wasn't too sure what I was doing in the beginnings, so I did a degree in chemistry and biochemistry. And then, of course, I went on to study medicine, and I found myself here. So, class of 2025, I just want to urge you. Let me move away from this script a little bit and see what I really want to say here. So these people that write all kind of things for you, but I think I've made, I think I've made the most important point. And I just want to close on 2 points. And one is the importance of all of those people behind this front row here, that's sitting up there, your parents, your well-wishers, who have supported you in this time. And 10 days ago, on the 4th of this month, I arrived at the old Piaco terminal, driven in a fancy car, dropped off, met by people and so on, because I was to be part of the greeting party for Prime Minister Modi. But that's not the story. I promised my wife I would not get emotional at this point. But the story is that when I walked through that old terminal, it reminded me of a day in September 1979, when my father drove me up in an Austin Cambridge HK 9419. I have plenty of history there, you know. It was HK, it was a hard car, it was Austin Cambridge. You can't see that in Trinidad anymore, yeah? And I had my suitcase, and he said to me, son, when you finish, you'll come back to Trinidad. I said, okay. You know what he really meant? He really meant that if you didn't finish in Jamaica, I was going to Jamaica, don't come back home. Don't come back home. That was a true story. And in my mind, that's the kind of man he was, but he wouldn't tell me it straight. But I understood that. But I'm just making that point. I'm making that point so that you understand the sacrifice that your parents would have made, right? They may not tell you, they are immensely proud here today. I saw when you all were walking in that you stood up and you were looking, and all of you were here, but who are you looking for? You was looking to see the pride on your parents' face. Tell me that is not true. And all this time to make sure they see you, eh? It's true. It's true. And to those of us here in the audience who are teachers, university lecturers, and so on, I want to remind you that your role is not finished here today with these graduates. Your role continues. And I'll give you one example. I don't know why this thing does happen in April all the time, but in April of 1986, remember I started my internship the 1st of April 1984. So if you take all the maths in there, you realize 2 years now I finished internship, right? And I have to become a house officer. And in April of 1986, my mother at home in St. John's Trace Advocate received a phone call from the Mount Hope Women's Hospital. I wasn't around, right? So when I came home, there's a landline there. All I know about landline, them thing to work in there. But anyway, she received a phone call, and then when I come home, she said, son, you know Professor Sam Rupnarayan Singh? Because she write it down and thing, you know. She write it down with lead pencil and a piece of paper. You know Professor Sam Rupnarayan Singh? I say, yes, ma'am. She said, well, listen, that man just make a phone call, and he tell me to tell you that if you have find your tail up there on Monday to start working in Mount Hope, that is it, no more job for you. I make that point just to show you. And Prof. Dan, this is for you and your team to follow your students, to support them. Because that phone call, I know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but I spent the next 40 years of my life practicing obstetrics and gynecology. And there is a school of thought that says that I may have been a good obstetrician and gynecologist. So that phone call was important. That was an important phone call. So class of 2025, I want to congratulate you. I'm trying to find the last page here. Oh, this is the page I write now, right? So I want to say congratulations. I want to say you have earned the right to wear the white coat with pride. My biggest regret is I can't find my white coat anymore, but I will keep searching, right? Remember this, the oath you take today is not a destination. It is a lifelong promise. So go forth boldly, heal wisely, and serve humbly. May your journey in medicine be one of purpose, progress, and profound impact. Thank you.
We want to thank Dr. the Honorable Lakram Bodo for his very inspirational presentation. Won't you say so? Yes? Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom and motivation. All right. So we continue in our program. And, you know, the medical journey is often defined by long hours of study, hard work, but well-deserved success. But there is this notion that medical students only know books. Is that true? You say yes? No, man, I'm disappointed to hear you say yes, right? But that's the notion that is out there, that all medical students know is books, but we know better, right? And certainly in the Faculty of Medical Sciences, we know that our students are more than just book smart. They are bright, but they are creative and multi-talented. And we like to encourage and applaud their versatility. So this evening, I'm more than thrilled to welcome to the podium Mr. Luke Lutchman, medical student of the class of 2026, former representative of the Medical Sciences Student Council of the UB Guild of Students, and a gifted musician and singer. Please welcome him as he graces us with a musical performance, guitar and voice.
Right, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Professor Reed, for that introduction. All protocols observed, and my role here is really simple tonight, guys, is just to have some fun, to bring some congratulations to the graduating class of 2025 June. And the song I've chosen is one that we all should know, so yes, I'm performing, but please sing along, clap, do anything. I just hope you enjoy the performance tonight. Yesterday, I saw myself in the city, Piccadilly, don't really know how I got there. That's some pictures on my phone, and I don't know address to places. Like I be rotating this and that. To whenever we want, but young enough to say, oh, gotta be a good life. It's gotta be a good life. It's gotta be a good life. Good life. I said, oh, this feeling that you can find like the city that's so far tonight. This has gotta be a good life. Good life. Say hello, my friends, and hello, take no. I've been for the past few years, so frequent to clinical. Now I tell you, sometimes there are things we can't jump off. Sometimes oceans we can't swim. We all the stories, so please tell me, let's complain about. Yeah, I feel like a fool, and you let it take you over. When everything is on, you gotta take it in. This has gotta be a good life. This has gotta be a good life. This could really be a good life. Good life. I said, oh, this feeling that you can't find like the city that's not far behind. This has gotta be a good life. A good life. Hopelessly, I feel like there might be something that I'll miss. Hopelessly, I feel like the window's closing in so quick. Hopelessly, I'm taking a mental picture of this now. Hopelessly, the hope that we have, so much to be good about. This has gotta be a good life. This has gotta be a good life. This will really be a good life. Good life. I said, oh, this is the night you can life. The city is on fire tonight. This has gotta be a good life. Good life. I've been for the past few years or so frequent to clinical. Now I doctor you. Sometimes it's every day we can't jump off. Sometimes it's suits we never not be all sorry. There's a complaint about a good life. Good life. All right, thank you, everyone.
I hope that you all enjoyed that as much as I did. I realized I didn't have to give you any instructions, right? I really wanted to tell you, stand up and move. But I realized that, you did some movement, which is good, But I really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that you did too. So now we've come to the moment at hand, the meat of the matter, the oath. Simply reciting this oath does not guarantee that you will practice ethically and with integrity, but practicing it does. And now we will all be witnesses to your declaration to practice according to this oath. Professor Sitharaman will now lead you in reciting the oath. So I invite you, Prof. Harry, to the podium.
Can you all stand up and please repeat after me? Everybody settled? Okay. I gratefully acknowledge the distinction to be conferred upon me, and I solemnly promise that as a graduate in medicine, I will abide steadfast in all due loyalty to the ethics of my profession and endeavor always to promote the welfare and maintain the reputation of the University of the West Indies. Further, in the exercise of my profession, I will ever have in mind the care of the sick and the well-being of the healthy. To these ends, I will use all my knowledge and judgment. I will keep silence on any matter which I may see or hear in the course of my professional work and which would be improper to divulge. I will not permit considerations of religion, nationality, race, party politics, or social standing to influence my duty to my patient. Thank you.
All right, so things are certainly warming up in here. As your program will indicate, we are about to recognize students with outstanding performance through the distribution of awards. I would like to invite at this time Mrs. Rihanna Ramutasingh to join me as we present 6 awards. We have 4 performance-based awards, 3 for students with the most outstanding performance in the clinical clerkships of the program, and 1 for the best performance in the MBBS final examinations. At this time, I invite the representatives of the medicine, surgery, and obstetrics and gynecology units to join us on stage. Please use the entrance on my left. That's your right. The award for the most outstanding performance in the surgery clerkship is sponsored by the Department of Surgery. Dr. Ravi Maraj, head of the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences, will make this presentation. The others will follow. Is Dr. Sherry Sandy here with us? Okay. All right. So we have Dr. Ravi Maraj, head of the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences. And I would like to announce the award for the most outstanding performance in the surgery clerkship. And this goes to Dr. Corrine Sampson. Let's hear it for her. Where you want her to come? This side. All right. So Dr. Sampson, please join us. Is she here? Oh, she's not here. All right. So can we ask the class rep to receive this award on her behalf? Yes, come, yes, you can come on this side. Thank you very much.
Dr. Rath, I want
Okay, so also gracing us on stage is Dr. Vanessa Harry, coordinator of the Unit of Obstetrics and Gynecology. And we now have the presentation for the most outstanding performance in the ONG clerkship. This is sponsored by the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and it goes to Dr. Graham Cavallo. All right, now I'm going to do something that I would not like anyone to do to me, but I'm going to invite Dr. Maritza Finance to come forward. She doesn't know that she's going to be called. And Dr. Finance, I humbly apologize, but we would like to do the presentation for the student with the best performance in the medicine clerkship. So as Dr. Finance makes her way forward, let me inform you that this award is sponsored by the Faculty of Medical Sciences, and it goes to, don't rush, don't rush, don't rush. Take your time. Thank you very much, Dr. Finance. And we are going to present this award for the best clerkship in medicine to Dr. Graham Cavallo. Okay, so we now have the prize for the student with the best performance in the final MBBS exam. So I have quite a few presenters for this one, and I want to invite them. Prof. Harry, I hope you were pre-warned. We have Prof. Harry, Ms. Cheryl Mohammed, and Mr. Ronnie Bola. Those are our three presenters for this award. Prof. Harry will present a trophy sponsored by the Faculty of Medical Sciences. Ms. Mohammed will present a prize and voucher from AA Lakis. And we also have, I think it's a check. Where my notes have gone. Yes, I have a check from the, where did it go? All right, I have a check from Mr. Ronnie Bowler, and that's the Trinidad Eye Hospital. Yes, I got it right, right? Okay, so these three prizes go to, as I said, the student with the best performance in the final MBBS examination. And that student is well, okay, I didn't say it, you said it. Dr. Graham Cavallo. Mhm. The Buddha? Okay. So let's give another round of applause for those students who would have earned these awards. Mhm. Now, our next award is sponsored by the Trinidad. Yes, you may exit. It's sponsored by the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association. And that one is for our class valedictorian, who we will hear from shortly. I would like to invite Dr. Ramona Sanka Kellawan to present this trophy, the valedictorian. And we know who that is. That's Dr. Amory Bujawan. Mhm. All right, and our final award, the Special Triumph Through Trials Award, is a prize presented to a student who has demonstrated resilience through the course of study. I invite Dr. Patrick Chinkong and again, Mr. Ronnie Bowler to make this presentation. So this prize goes to Dr. Pradeep Samaru. Is he here? Oh, yes, he is. So Dr. Samaru will receive 1 year free membership in the TTMA. That will be presented by Dr. Chinkong, and he will also receive a check presented by Dr. Bowler of the Trinidad Eye Hospital. All right. Okay, so let's keep that noise going. Yes? Excellent. Yes. Mhm. All right, so I'd just like to say thank you to all our presenters and congratulations to all of the prize and award recipients. I want to hand over to Dr. Ayana Mohammed at this point in time. So your class representative, it's class of 2025, will now take the podium and make some special presentations.
Parents, guardians, specially invited guests, members of staff, and our new doctors on the block, good evening. Today has been a long time coming. It has been an enthralling journey, and we could not have done it without each other, but above all, the doctors that guided us here. While you are all important to us and played a significant role in the doctors that we are to be today, there are a few selfless teachers that gave us their late afternoons, their weekends, and their personal time to ensure that we not only passed, but excelled. On behalf of the graduating class of 2025, we'd like to recognize you for your dedication. To assist me today, I'd like to call upon the group leaders of our class whose quiet efforts ensured coordination behind the scenes, whether it be to assign schedules, groups, classes. We are grateful for your work. Representing Group A is Dr. Ariana Batiste. Group B was led by Dr. Daniel Reverend. From Group C, we have Dr. Alima Mohammed. Spearheading Group D was Chelsea Mohammed. From my very own group, Dr. Mariam Imamdi. And the leader of Group F and our valedictorian for tonight, Dr. Amari Bujawan. And to break up all of the skill power, we have Dr. Renard Lal to assist us. For his unwavering support in the Surgical Sciences Department, we'd like to recognize Dr. Yadesh Singh. Okay, he can't be here tonight, but we do have somebody else. We'd like to invite Donnell to the stage. I know he was here somewhere. Moving on, we'd like to recognize somebody from the medicine department, Dr. Sherry Sandy. Somebody not a stranger to us all, we'd like to recognize Dr. Gooden. I'm sure he's proud to know that all of you all here can put on a cat study right way. Not a doctor next, but somebody very important to us all. We'd like to invite Ms. Gilks. From the same obstetric and gynecology department, we'd like to invite Dr. Sunil Prasad. Because he's special, we call him twice. Can we invite Donnell? Go back next. So that's not. The next doctor we'd like to call upon is not only somebody who wrote the textbook, but also distributed it for us to have free of charge and did multiple copies. We'd like to recognize and appreciate Dr. Ravi Miraj. Next, we'd like to call upon Dr. Sabrati. And Dr. Ravid Khan. They say don't choose favorites, but I did. Next, we'd like to call upon Dr. Vanessa Harry. All the way from St. Anne's, we have Dr. Ramdahal. From the medicine department, we have a doctor who would spend time and time again to do the same exams over and over and not get tired when we ask questions. We have Dr. Ramlakan Singh. From the pediatric department, somebody who never misses oath taking, we have Dr. Virendra Singh. Our next doctor deserves a long introduction, from Friday classes to speed rounds. The man that needs no introduction, we have Professor Harnarayan. He said he'll torture us in Sandu. And now I'd like to recognize our group leaders once again. And Reynad. No, Reynad. You just make sure they get down okay. We have recognized our most resilient student tonight, and our most resilient student would like to recognize some of the doctors that he values personally. We'd like to call Dr. Pradeep Samaru. He has sponsored some of the tokens tonight from Perdoodle's Medical Supply. For her unwavering support in the pediatric department, we'd like to call on Dr. Maritza Finance. Again, from the pediatric department, we'd like to recognize Dr. Shukla. And finally, somebody who we all know and love at San Fernando, can we invite Miss Tammy? To assist me with this last token, I'd like to invite Dr. Darian Constantine. She's running away behind there, but somebody who this event will not be possible today, who has helped us over the last 5 years with things that she didn't even need to, whether it be WhatsApp calls in the night or early mornings. We'd like to invite Miss Rihanna Ramtar Singh. And that concludes the tokens. Thank you all.
So on behalf of all the recipients, the faculty and the administrative staff, we would like to say thank you very much to the class of 2025 for your warm, your kind, your generous gesture. Thank you very much. Now, earlier, I mentioned our pride in the creativity, versatility, and talent of our students outside of medicine. Now, just in case you're wondering, because we just had someone from class of 2026 perform. So in case you're wondering whether this class of 2025, has any such talent, I want to assure you that they do. So we will now be graced by another musical piece that will likely warm you up a little bit if you're feeling cold. Yeah. So at this time, it's the steel pan and voice from our newly minted Dr. Adil Vidal. Welcome here. Warmed up? Yeah? Okay. So that was our own Dr. Adel Vidal on the national instrument, the steel pan. So as we move towards the close of our program, we have a very important item that we would now go into. And every graduating class has its own rhythm, its own stories, its own struggles, and its own triumphs. The valedictorian does not only represent academic achievement, but is also a representative of the resilience, camaraderie, and purpose that have carried this class through the demanding years of medical training. So it is my great pleasure to invite to the podium at this time Dr. Amari Bujawan, valedictorian of the MBBS class of 2025, and she will deliver the address on behalf of the cohort.
Good evening, esteemed specially invited guests, faculty members, parents, guardians, family, and most of all, my fellow graduates. Thank you all for joining us today. As Nicki Minaj said in her hit song, Moment for Life, it's a celebration every time we link up. Greatness is what we are on the brink of. And I think that truly sums us up as a year group. My name is Amari Bujawan, and I'm honored to have the privilege to address you all today on behalf of the class of 2025 as the valedictorian-elect. These past 5 years have simultaneously felt like the longest and the shortest of my life, and I'm sure most of you would agree. But before we get there, let's take a little trip down memory lane, all the way back to the beginning. In March of 2020, we all heard the news that the country was going to be locked down for just a few weeks. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, that's us. We are the legendary, unprecedented COVID group, the first of our kind to ever begin medical school in the midst of a global pandemic. Hence, we were thrown into the unknown, but at least we were together. And we know what everyone said, but however shall they do it? But with the unwavering support of our parents and lecturers, it is no surprise that I stand here today before a group of amazing young doctors. Yes, that's right, doctors, you did that. Everyone, parents, graduates, give yourselves a round of applause. Now let me carry on a journey, a short tale of our years spent in medical school, beginning with, of course, Chapter 1, the first year of online problem-based learning classes, also known as the PBLs, spotters and PEC. I won't lie, PBLs felt like the literal bane of my existence in preclinical years. It wasn't until 4th and 5th year I realized how valuable those teachings were. Apart from the content, those classes taught us invaluable lessons about teamwork, collaboration, leadership, and public speaking skills. In the atmosphere of online school, it was also where most of us made our very first friends in medical school. Unconventional friendships formed from something so simple as sharing a large PBL objective together. From arguing about the best way to fill out the PBL forms to being absolutely lost in anatomy classes, we somehow persevered and we made it to Chapter 2, the year of the research project. I remember everyone being so incredibly confused about the statistics parts of the analysis, and no one wanted to do it. So I'll take a moment now to say thank you to all who did. And to make things worse, I never really got the hang of spotters. You'd think having them in year one would have made it easier, but alas, it didn't. But once again, we marched up and pushed ourselves on and moved on to chapter 2.5. In the words of the famous music group ABBA, I can still recall our last summer, or at least what should have been our last summer. Which brings me to the 3 months of junior clerkship. Our year group was so luckily picked to be the guinea pigs of this trial. I'm only joking, of course. I really do feel lucky. That junior clerkship made the transition to clinical years all the more easier. And it was also where most of us met each other in person for the first time. And because of that, and because I met so many of you during that time, I will always be grateful. And once again, we passed our exams, wrote exams during what should have been our last July-August vacation, and made it to chapter 3, the year of the infamous progressive disclosure questions, better known as the PDQs. I'm sure we will all never forget the first one we wrote and failed together in unity as a year group. It was, as they said, what's the word? Abysmal. But like the true stars we are, we learned from our mistakes and we moved forward. I remember the night before the very last PDQ as though it were yesterday. I was studying at home with a friend and we had both hit a wall with studying. I was looking at the list of topics I still needed to cover and I realized that fateful time had come. It was time to sacrifice some topics. Now, I'm not a very religious person per se, but you can bet your bottom dollar that night we both prayed. I lit an incense, waved it over the list of topics, chose at random, and that's what we studied. And friends, here's where it gets very interesting. Everything I studied from that point on came on the exam. Now I know what you're thinking. Wait, she probably got 100%. No. Because everything that came on the exam, I only read it the night before. But I surely did pass. Now moving on to chapter 4, our very first clinical year. We all rushed to the wards that first day, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, hair neatly combed and in place, white coats freshly bleached and ironed the night before. So cute. We had absolutely no idea what was in store for us, but we truly thought we knew everything. I still remember being in year 4 and looking at my year 5s wondering, how I could know this and they don't? Shouldn't this clerkship be easy for them? They did this last year. And when I'm in year 5, I'm going to be so different. I'm going to be the smartest, bestest year 5 there is. Well, listeners, I was not. I still remember my first year 5 rotation where I had year 4s, which was OBGYN on Dr. Subrati's team. And I looked at my year 4s thinking, wow, these kids are smart. I hope they don't ask me for help with anything. But we really learned and grew so much during that final year. But I'll be honest, it was a rough time. My mental health took a huge dive in 4th year, and the entirety of year 5 for me personally felt as though I was trapped underwater, using all of the energy I could possibly muster just to keep my head ever so slightly above the water so that I wouldn't drown. I'll get a little real and raw now. Scrapping all of the flash and all of the glory of being a doctor, the truth is this was a hard journey. Many sleepless nights and anxiety-ridden days, having to show up and be your best selves no matter what was happening in your personal life or at home, battling mental health struggles silently as you try to be there for your peers, for your teams, and for your patients. And it's no secret that not everyone here comes from the same financial background or has a family to love, support, and take care of them. And yet you all are here. These past 5 years would have looked incredibly different for each and every single one of us. But despite it all, we were able to overcome and remain resilient in the face of many adversities. I want you to know that I, as well as every person sitting in this room, is so incredibly proud of you. It surely wasn't easy, but you made it. So now I'd like to take some time to say thank you on behalf of the class of 2025. Thank you to our consultant lecturers who always made the time to have extra classes with us, who are always looking out for us. Thank you to our parents, guardians, siblings, and other family members for something so simple as making us a meal when we are tired or popping in to say a kind word of encouragement. And thank you to our friends, those in medical school and those not in medical school, those friends that would carpool with you, the friends that would bring you an extra sandwich on call, or the friends that would stay up with you studying in the middle of the night, or simply flash you a comforting smile in between an OSCE station. They may seem like little things, but these things add up, and I truly believe these things have saved us. So once again, on behalf of me and my peers, I wholeheartedly say thank you. As I stand here now, looking at all of my fellow graduates, I'm reminded of the word Sonder, which is the realization that every person in this room has a life as unique and as complex as my own. And I think of the unique persons that have come together to create our lovely year group. The fact that so many of us were set to start medical school earlier, the fact that so many of us did in fact start different programs of study and even jobs, but by some cosmic force, this particular group of persons was brought together on this special journey. A wonderful mosaic of personalities and talents that come together to make up the most beautiful composition of a year group, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. Now, my fellow graduates, I would like you to pause and take a moment. I would like you to please look to the person to your left. And I'd like you to look at the person to your right. Your right, not my right. Please remember these faces. Please do not ever be a stranger. Do not ever hesitate to reach out or to ask for help or to simply say hi. I have no doubt that our time in medical school has equipped each and every single one of us with the tools to go on and do the most amazing things. As the talented Taylor Swift once said, the scary news is you're on your own now. But the cool news is you're on your own now. So go forth and shine. I cannot wait to see what we do. Thank you.
It's always very interesting to hear the inside view. And we want to thank Dr. Bourgeois for sharing such with us. Well, all good things must come to an end. But we cannot and should not ever leave without saying thanks to those who contributed to the success of this oath-taking ceremony. So I just ask you to bear with me as I thank all of the individuals who would have contributed. I want to start with the faculty leadership who drove the event. And I thank Professor Hariharan Sitharaman, the Dean of the faculty. And I want to make very special mention of Professor Dilip Dan, professor in the Department of Surgery, for his contribution in making this event a success. To the event coordinator, Ms. Rihanna Jamie Ramutar Singh, who was ably assisted by Mrs. Nisa Phillips, we also want to say thank you for a job well done. To all of our speakers, esteemed speakers on the program who would have brought greetings, and especially to our featured speaker, Dr. the Honorable Lakram Bodo, we say a thank you. I wish to itemize our sponsors because they played a very important role in making this happen. We have Dr. Ravi Maraj of the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences, Dr. Kurt Bodkin of the Department of Clinical Medical Sciences, A.A. Lakis, A.S. Bryden, ICU Optical, HADCO, the Medical Protection Society, the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association, the Trinidad Eye Hospital, Toppers, and Rosabella. We want to give thank you to all of our sponsors. And among our body of medical students, we say thanks to our valedictorian, Dr. Anne-Marie Bourgeois, and the medical students who so ably shared their talent, Mr. Luke Lochman and now Dr. Adil Vidal. To our service providers, Ms. Jada John for the catering, Mr. Corey Phillip for the decor, and Laser Cuts for the trophies, we say thanks. And to our hard-working and dedicated staff from the Center for Medical Sciences Education, Mr. Alejandro Ali for graphics, Mr. Julio Rampasad, who was responsible for print together with Mr. Lawrence Theodore, Mr. Dexter Superville for photography, and Mr. Marlon Sampson, AV technician, we give a heartfelt thank you. From the UWI Marketing and Communications, we also wish to thank Ms. Wendy Maynard and Ms. Christy Manette-Smith from the Division of Student Services and Development, who were very instrumental in helping us to pull all of this together. All of our volunteers and ushers under the able direction of Ms. Maria Brooks, we say thank you, and to all other faculty and staff who assisted with planning. And finally, we say thank you to all of you graduates, your parents, the family members, and specially invited guests. For without you, it could not have happened. Thank you once again. We look forward to you joining us for our cocktail reception, and I will invite Ms. Ramutar Singh to give some more details as to how the rest of the evening will progress. Thank you.
Good night, everyone. Special thank you to my Master of Ceremonies, Professor Sandra Reed. She would have mentioned thank you to our professors, Professor Hariharan Sitharaman and Professor Dilip Dan. Thank you very much for your support during this event. I can safely say this has been my biggest event to date, as some of you all would know. And I am really happy that we got the honor and privilege to invite our guests. So let's give our guests a round of applause for being here today, especially those in balcony. I know we have a full house. So thank you, parents, thank you, guests, thank you, everyone who supported our graduates over the years. I would also like to say a special vote of thanks to, once again, our esteemed sponsors, volunteers, cast and crew at SAPA. Without you, this would not have been possible. So at this point in time, I would like to invite persons sitting in rows 9 to 13 to please follow our very own Miss Maria Brooks. Thank you, Miss Brooks, as well for all your hard work, right? She will guide you out. And I'm going to ask the graduates and their guests to remain seated because we aim to get a group photo, right? I'm going to invite Mr. Superville on stage. We want one last class photo. It would be a bit difficult to do it outside, right? And when you guys leave the auditorium, we have some treats downstairs. Graduates and guests will be served downstairs in the lobby. We have some booths on display from the Trinidad and Tobago Medical Association. I invite you to check it out because you will soon be a part of it. And I know they have their interns dinner coming up, so I will see you there again. We also have some tokens for distribution from the Trinidad Eye Hospital. Thank you to Dr. Bowler, and also Farmco. So graduates, make sure you grab a token before you leave, right? As Prof. Reed mentioned, refreshments, courtesy JJ's Catering. So graduates and guests, you're welcome to take your guests downstairs. We have snack boxes to hand out. We also have sampling station from Toppers, Rosabella, and a Doubles Man. I know y'all would like that. The life of a medical student. Doubles, survived 5 years, right? And last but not least, we have Dressed to Impress. We have a lot of photo booths strategically placed. We have the 360 degrees booths. We have printed photos on site, and we have a walking photographer who will be taking photos. You give him your cell number, and it will be sent directly to your phone, right? And this is courtesy Flashtastic Photos. So once again, I bid everyone a good night. I will be seeing you outside. And thank you very much for helping me make this event a success. All right, Dexter will give some guidance. I will guests in the balcony, you all are invited to leave and head straight down to the lobby. I will send our graduates out shortly.